My sister stole from me to buy a new phone, so in revenge, I sold her car. My parents have always treated my sister and me differently for as long as I can remember. They always took her side in any argument. When we were 8 years old, she broke the old vase that held my grandmother's ashes. It was very precious to my mother, and my sister knew she was in trouble, so she blamed me. I tried to tell them I was in my room when it happened, but they didn't listen. They punished me for an entire week while rewarding my sister with her favorite food for telling the truth. They never celebrated my birthday because they were too busy working, but they always threw a big party for my sister's birthday and bought her all the gifts she asked for. Even though her demands were ridiculous, like wanting the latest phone at age 12, my parents never said no. Meanwhile, if I wanted new clothes, I had to beg and do chores for an entire week. My parents considered our grades to be the most important thing in the world. My sister always got the best grades in school, so my parents praised her endlessly. I really tried to match her performance by working hard, but I never succeeded. So they always said things like, maybe if you learn more from your sister, you wouldn't be such a disappointment. And my sister kept taking advantage of their favoritism. Things like grabbing the TV remote from me and taking my toys but never sharing hers were normal. But she sometimes went too far. Once, I was very excited about a school trip and spent the whole week preparing for it. My sister saw this and decided to sabotage me by lying to my parents. She told them she had seen me spying on the girls' bathroom at school, and to my surprise, they believed her without verifying any evidence. They never called the school to confirm and simply decided to punish me by not allowing me to go on the trip that day. I realized that my parents were never going to be on my side. I started spending my time at my friend's house so I wouldn't have to listen to my sister's demands all day. I also got a job in high school so I could pay for my own things. This was because I never received an allowance like my sister did. I was being careful and saving money because I wanted to move out at 18 and get away from her. For her 16th birthday, my parents bought her a new car, and she made sure to rub it in my face every time I had to go somewhere. She would ask if I wanted a ride and then say, "Oops, sorry, I can't waste my gas on poor people." Over time, I just ignored her and stayed away. There were days when my parents didn't say a single word to me, but I was more than happy to be ignored rather than punished. Now, my 18th birthday is a few weeks away, and I had saved enough money to make a deposit and rent my own apartment, but I was having trouble finding a decent place, so that money was hidden in my room. I checked it every night before bed just as a way to feel secure. But I made the mistake of talking on the phone when my sister was home, and she probably overheard me again. She heard me talking about the apartment and how I had some money saved up. She immediately came into my room and asked, "Do you want to buy a new phone? Do you think you could share some of your money with me?" She had asked our parents the same question, and they said no because their finances were a bit tight. I couldn't believe she was asking me to hand over the money I had earned myself, and I firmly said no. I told her that money was for me, and that if she wanted, she could get a job herself. She refused and got angry at me for suggesting she should work. Then she stormed off, and I sighed with relief, thinking it was over. However, when I came home the next day, I saw my sister holding the new iPhone 15. She was telling our parents that she had bought it with her own money, and they were praising her for being so independent. I immediately ran to my room and saw everything on the floor. She had rummaged through all my belongings and found the money I had hidden. She took the exact amount that would have cost her new phone. I ran back downstairs and shouted at her to give my money back, but my dad got in my way and told me to calm down. I explained that she had stolen my money to buy that phone, even though I was saving for an apartment. I demanded that she return my money right now, or I would report the theft. But as always, my parents took her side. They said she would never lie about something like that, and that I was trying to undermine her efforts. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw my sister smiling as my parents told me to apologize to her. I refused to do what they said because I was telling the truth. I said I could prove it by showing them my room and how it was ransacked, but they still didn't listen. I was horrified to see how blind they were to my sister's antics and how little they cared about everything I said. I decided I had had enough and would get my money back one way or another. I knew the three of them were going on vacation next week without me, so I waited. I acted like I didn't care that my sister had stolen the money. She would walk by me and taunt me, saying, "I hope your money is safe." But I just responded, "I hope so too," and kept waiting. The day they left, I went into her room and took the keys to her car. I drove to the nearest dealership that bought used cars and sold it for whatever they were willing to give me. I'm pretty sure I got less than half of what it was worth, but I didn't care. I had gotten more money than she had stolen from me. Then I rented the first available apartment and moved all my things before they returned. I also blocked them and never told them my address, so they literally have no way to contact me. I regret not being able to see my sister's face when she realized her car and I had disappeared. Update. I thought I was finally free from that toxic environment, but I never expected my sister to find me and do something crazy. Apparently, she blackmailed one of my friends into telling her where I was, and they told her I was very interested in this apartment. So she showed up and started banging on my door, demanding that I buy her a new car. I blocked the door with a sofa and told her to leave. I said I didn't know what she was talking about. She started screaming that I had stolen her car and that I needed to pay her back with interest. I actually laughed when she mentioned interest. She got even angrier, but when I told her I would return her car if she gave me back the money she stole from me, she went completely silent. For once in her life, our parents weren't there to defend her, and she had to speak for herself. She started stammering but eventually decided I wasn't worth her kindness. She probably said, "Let's see how you like this," and threw a rock at my window, completely shattering it. At that moment, I called the police and told her that if she didn't leave, she would be arrested, but she didn't listen and kept throwing rocks. Some of the neighbors saw this and recorded everything on their phones. Fortunately, when the police arrived, she was still screaming and trying to break into my apartment. They handcuffed her and took her to jail, and I got a restraining order against her. She is no longer allowed to come near my house, and I am finally free from her abuse. Or at least I hope so because I've blocked them. I haven't heard anything from my parents, but I assume they bailed her out of jail. She probably told them my address, but they haven't tried to contact me yet. Maybe they've given up on me and decided their golden child is now their only child. I don't know whether to feel sad or happy that they've left me alone, but I will enjoy this peace of mind, even if it only lasts a while.